Hello pilots of the internet and welcome to Foldable Flight. In this video I'm teaching you how to fold a wild paper airplane. I mean, look at the horn on this thing, how long that is. And that is why I call this plane Pegasus, which I think looks amazing and it actually flies pretty well too. Now, as I usually do, I have designed a template for Pegasus, and with the template, this is just straight up one of my favorite looking paper airplanes. This thing is nuts. I'm extremely proud of it. So if you support me on patreon.com/foldableflight for just $4 a month, you can download and print off this template as well as almost 50 others, an ever-growing library of templates that make your planes look a lot cooler. So with that said, let's see this plane in flight, and then I'll teach you how to fold it. All you will need in order to fold Pegasus is an 8.5 by 11 inch or A4 sheet of paper, and we will begin by folding the right edge to the left edge. And once you do that, go ahead and open your paper up. And we're going to fold this edge here in approximately to the center crease, but I like to leave just a little gap and run my edge parallel, but not all the way to the center crease. And I'll go ahead and fold the other side to match that. And now I'll go ahead and fold this edge here into this edge. Again, not all the way to the center crease, so hold that edge in place as you fold this. It should look something like this, which I imagine looks pretty familiar to most of you who have folded a paper airplane before. And we'll do the same thing on this side here. And your plane should look like this. Now I'm actually going to fold this edge in all the way to the center this time. Again though, trying to control those layers underneath to the best of my ability. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And your plane should now look like this. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and open my left side up. You can go all the way back out to this orientation here, and I'm going to fold on this line and position it like so, so that when I close this back up, you can see we just have this triangle remaining outside, sticking out of the middle of our plane. So now I'm going to push that whole triangle to the left, and I'm going to fold a line that goes horizontally from this point to this point here. And my reference point is I want it to go right through the intersection of where this edge intersects the center crease. So to do that, I'm actually going to flip the paper over and fold this down just far enough to reveal that point where this edge is now meeting the top edge and the center crease. But before I place my crease, I need to flip it back over and make sure that my center crease on this point here, this line right here, is in alignment with the center crease on this side too. And once I do that, I can crease on the top layer, or the top edge. If you're working with an A4 paper, that's even easier because you don't have to flip it over. But with 8.5, 11, you have to do that. So now that we've placed our crease, we can open that up, put our paper back in this position, and I'm now going to gather that crease between my thumbs and forefingers and pull it down And basically I'm going to create another horizontal crease down here. And the way that I locate where to place it is I'm looking for that point right where this edge here is going to intersect the edge I'm about to make. So I want this edge here to go right to the point where this edge is intersecting that edge. So this edge here, this edge, and this edge should all intersect at the same point, and my center crease here should be in alignment with my center crease on that layer as well. Okay, and now I will go ahead and unfold that. And I'm going to fold from this point here down to this corner here, lifting this flap out. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And your plane should look like this. Now I'll go ahead and fold again on this bottom horizontal line. Fold this back up on that horizontal line. And I'm ready to fold this here into the center. So I'm folding all the way down to this point right here as I pull this edge into the center. And you'll see, even though I'm folding all the way into this pocket, it's going to be awkward because the pocket won't lie flat. And that's okay. I'm just going to do what I can here and control this edge and land that on the center crease. That's the goal, even though that pocket won't lie flat. Just ignore it for now. But make sure your crease does go all the way into the pocket. Okay, and you'll notice the pocket is currently open in this position, but I actually want to pull it open and use my finger to open it in this position so that this side of the pocket is open. And then I'm going to flatten it so that I'm creating a crease going from this point here to the point where this catches that edge there. And you'll see it should flatten into this kind of position, or shape rather. Okay, and having done one side, I'm going to now pull this and position it on this side, and I'm actually going to do the same thing on the other side now, folding this edge here to my center. Again, I want my crease to go all the way into the pocket. And the pocket's open in this position, but I want to open it in the other position. And then fold so that I'm making a crease from this point here to that point there. And before I really flatten this, I'm going to fold my plane in half and make sure that I make this wing the same shape as my other wing. So when I flatten it, it should overlap my other wing very closely. And now, while holding the plane in half like this, note that my flap is originating from the left side of my plane, and I'm going to wrap it just one time to the right side of the plane. Or, well, I'm looking from the bottom, of course, then from the top it's still on the left, but you get what I'm saying. Wrap it to the other side. And with it lying like this, I'm now going to fold this edge in, and the way I determine how much is I'm basically folding it so that it continues at the same angle as this edge right there. So pull it nice and tight and then fold it down like that. And now we are ready to wrap it around the front section of our plane, and we're wrapping it pretty tightly here. Okay, And now that I've wrapped it all the way around, I'm going to back off just a little bit. So I'm letting it fall to that position there. And you can see, basically here's my idea. When I wrap this around, I want to be tucking this tab here in under this layer right there. But to do that, I need to hold it loosely enough to actually start tucking it in on this side. And it has to be fairly loose, or otherwise you're not going to be able to get this under the layers. And once you get it started, try to work it really gently, and you just keep twisting it and keep twisting it, and you want to not catch that front edge too bad. You can see how it's peeling up a little bit. It's hard not to let it do it at all, but you're just twisting it a little tighter and a little tighter, like so, and it should eventually be held together really nicely and tightly enough that it should not come undone even after crashing. So there you go. Now I'm going to fold my wings back down, and I want to do that by folding them, just kind of continuing this same angle of this nose here, or even just a little bit lower than that. You can kind of almost even fold it over this edge here. And once I do that, I'll flip it over, fold the other side to match. Okay, and now I'll fold this wing back up over that edge. Flip it over and do the same thing over here. And I'll put the wings back down, and now I'm going to fold winglets that I want to be parallel to this top edge. So this crease I'm making should be parallel to that edge there. And once I do one side, I can flip it over, fold the other side to match. And now all that's left to do is I'm going to move my wings out of the way. I'm going to fold from about here to the point where this crease here intersects the back edge. So I'm folding both layers of the keel of my plane, just like that. And now I can inside reverse fold on those creases. So I'm opening this up here, I'm looking at the bottom, and I'm just poking that and reversing these creases so that all goes inside the plane. And now you can see that creates a fin here on the top and back side. So now this is a finished plane. All we have to do is align or position our wings in the way that we want. And basically, I like to have an anhedral angle from this point down to this point. So these are sloping down, and then have it flat. These outer wings should be completely flat and level to the ground as it's flying. And I would recommend that you add a bit of up elevator to your plane. So you're going to want to bend the back edges up just a bit, and that's going to help it glide really nicely for you and fly quite well. And with that, good luck flying your plane.